I am fully convinced that a lot of Christians support child abuse. Yeah. A lot of Christians are in favor of child abuse. Here's the issue. Every single time that I post a news article about Christians abusing children, the same result occurs. Christians start flooding the comments and start trying to accuse me of pushing an agenda as a deflection from the topic at hand. See, here's my agenda. I don't want to see children being harmed. That's my agenda. Preventing children from being harmed. Your agenda seems to be attacking my agenda. Because you always come here, instead of trying to figure out how we can prevent children from being harmed, you want to attack me from wanting children to not be harmed, to remain unharmed. You are the ones who assert that there is this God that exists, this being, this deity that watches over us, and if you do something wrong, he's gonna punish you for your sins. And every time I bring up something like this, I don't hear none of that from none of y'all. I hear, I hope God does something. I wish the Lord would do something to this guy. But I don't see it happening. I see the police arresting this guy and putting him in prison. I see court systems that will try this man that may or may not give him a reasonable sentence. And typically they don't. For some reason in this country, we do not prosecute child abuse like that. People can assault a child and get off in 2 years, which is unfathomable to me. But I digress. You know, different states have different laws and all of that, but it's absurd. It's absolutely, positively absurd. So, this is what is so crazy to me about dealing with Christians and theists of all kinds. This is your theology. Your theology purports this nonsense of this entity that exists and that would want to harm somebody who commits these kind of heinous acts. And yet, we don't see that happening. In fact, that's the reason why we have laws. That's the reason why we have court systems. Because your theology is insufficient. Completely, totally, and utterly insufficient for properly regulating a well-functioning society, which is why we don't have a well-functioning society, because you fools want to get into the law and affect it and bend it to your will. And we have this chaotic situation we have, which is the reason why on the Global Peace Index, America ranks 129th out of 163 countries. Is it a coincidence the overwhelming majority of Americans are Christian? If y'all knew what the fuck y'all were talking about, then why the hell are we failing so miserably at creating a well-functioning society? I'll tell you why. Because y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about. You cannot demonstrate the existence of your deity, but what you can demonstrate is that you have a storied history of protecting predators ad nauseum throughout world history for millennia, not just centuries, millennia. For thousands of years, this has been going on. And y'all have zero solutions that you can offer as to how to solve these problems, how to prevent these problems, how to create a well-functioning society such that children are safe and protected. Your methodologies simply do not work. They are simply insufficient. They are simply woefully inept. They don't work. If they did, instead of flooding my comments trying to attack my agenda, you would actually offer practical, sensible, tangible solutions that demonstrably work. They do not. You do not. You never offer anything because you are all straight up full of shit and you are so unwilling to admit it. That's the reason why you goofies had me blocked on TikTok Live. Because at the end of the day, you can't stand being challenged, having your views be challenged, and being exposed for the monsters y'all really are. Y'all love to purport that you have such a moral high ground, and yet story after story after story after story after story comes out about some weirdo among your congregation harming children. And it's never just like one singular child. It's always multiple children being harmed. And then you have the nerve to say that I'm making light of it because I'm actually highlighting it, unlike y'all. See, unlike y'all, I actually highlight the fact that people in your community are hurting children and y'all ain't doing the damn thing about it. And your God is most certainly not doing the damn thing about it. And you have the nerve, the absolute gall to come to me and say that my agenda is terrible because I actually do not want none of this shit to happen. Apparently y'all do. Because if you did it, you would get over your high horse. You would get over your devotion and dedication to this nonsensical cult. And you would be trying to contribute to figuring out how we can prevent these monsters from gaining positions of hurting children, from gaining positions that allow them the freedom to hurt children. Why is this happening amongst your congregation? Why aren't y'all doing anything to stop it? Why does your God, if it's so real, why does it not stop these things from happening without the legal process from getting involved? Because your God is so the truth and the light and all that bullshit. Why does this always happen under his nose? Every single time. Why do you Christians fail so miserably to figure out how to stop this nonsense? If you're so correct, if your theology is so correct, why does it fail every single time? 100% of the time. 100% of the time. And then you have the nerve to talk about me and that I'm always pushing an agenda. I'm conflating all these things. No, you're the one that conflates these things. You're the one who loves to assert that your way is the right way. And every time I point out all the flaws and inconsistencies in your way, instead of just acknowledging that you are wrong and trying to figure out a better solution, you double down, you triple down, you quadruple down. You do everything possible to absolutely refuse to acknowledge that y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about and that your way is simply insufficient. That's why I do what I do. Because at the end of the day, all of you are completely, totally, and utterly full of shit, and it is time that you finally acknowledge it. You can't demonstrate that there is a such thing as a God or gods of any kind. You can't demonstrate how this God is real and just and moral and superior in any way because you can't even show me where the hell it is. And in the meantime, these predators continue to prey on kids in your communities, in your buildings, in your facilities. And it requires law enforcement to get involved to solve your problems, which is all of our problems, because we're all people and the children are the future. And if you actually care about the children as you claim, you would help me help the world prevent this nonsense from happening forever. Good luck.